It's still around.
Yeah, it's still around. It shut down for a little while. Their owner was like traveling.
Yeah, for sure.
But like, cause he just like owns this like warehouse or whatever and opens it whenever he chooses.
That's dope. That's
yeah,
dope.
but I think it's opening again soon. But there was a homie there. He knew that owner and he was putting out his stuff, doing his little artist thing, trying to put artists on and stuff and making this nice little showcase of a few Calgary hip hop artists and rappers from Calgary and the surrounding area and stuff.
Yeah.
And he wanted a female artist. And I had come to one of the shows at the Nest like a couple weeks before and met this guy. And I just like started talking to, like at that point I had moved into Calgary, I had settled, and we just were going out. And whenever we met people, I was just like, hey, I sing. You know, I was just trying to brand myself to the public as a musician and a singer.
Sure.
And he was like, and often people would be like, oh yeah, word, me too. Or, oh yeah, I know a producer friend who's looking for a female art. Like they were just right off the bat like, oh, word, you sing? Like, let me give you this person's contact, or like, let me hook you up with this, or like, you should check out
Lots
this
of
place.
connections.
Yeah, like people were just like willing to share their information with me, which I didn't really get that in
the beginning.
Yeah, in the beginning. But so this guy, I met him a couple weeks ago, and then all of a sudden at this showcase, he's like, hey, I need a female artist. You want to perform? And I was like, but you never heard me sing. I just told you that I sing.
Yeah, I could be
like,
trash.
I don't have any music out, so you can't possibly have any reference.
Yeah.
He's like, no. Like, when I talk to you, your voice, you sound like a singer. You should be good.
The vibe was there.
And I went, and he's like, okay, it was a Halloween show. He's like, you got to sell tickets to be in the show. And I was like, okay. He's like, you got to sell 10 minimum to be in the show. I was like, bro, I moved to Calgary like 6 months ago, and I'm working full time as a childcare teacher. I don't have any friends. Like,
I don't know.
Who the fuck am I supposed to invite
people.
to this shit? But my husband worked in sales, and he was like, I'm gonna invite all my coworkers. And he played recreational soccer, so he invited like all soccer team.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, and I went to the dispensaries and just invited the tellers and
Yeah,
shit like that.
Yo,
I was like, whatever.
Sell me the bud,
Exactly.
but come to my show.
I ended up selling like 15 or 16 tickets.
That's dope.
And crushed that shit. There were so many people there. Like there had to be 150 people. That place is supposed to host like 60 to 80.
Okay,
it
so
was
it was
packed. And like,
how was the vibe on
so
stage?
So many connections. Oh, it was immaculate. Like people didn't even know me, but they were showing me love. And
That's
like
dope.
that was something that I'd never experienced before or thought to experience. Like
there's a good scene here in Calgary.
I just was like, oh, they don't know me. Like I'm not gonna expect a crowd or expect people to really like get hype on my set. Like people will tune in because I sound good, but no, people went off. And I played music that I wrote, which I had never done before in my life. This was the first time I'd ever performed any of my original shit. Damn. I'd always just performed covers. But I did it. How
was that feeling?
People loved it. It was so scary. That was probably the first time I've ever been nervous, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I was like, I never ever planned to share it with anyone. I wanted to get into the studio and make music, but I just planned on rewriting music. Yeah. But I was like, this guy invited me to a show. I can't sing all covers. He asked me to sing 5 songs. Like, I better sing some originals.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
If I want to be doing this in Calgary. So I did. People loved it.
That's dope.
It was awesome.
No, that sounds like a really good experience. And like the Nest is still happening right now. So like, is there any like events coming up from the Nest that people can check out?
Not as of now. Like I said, for the last year or so, they've kind of been shut down.
He hasn't reopened.
No, yeah. And usually they always like let out the Addy the night before kind of deal.
Oh, is that type of party?
Yeah, that kind of thing. But
it's like New York.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. That's dope.
But I always post on my stories whenever I'm there because I want to rep the Nest. The Nest is a chill ass place.
No, that's dope.
And it was where I played my first show too. So
shout out the Nest.
Gotta show the love. Yeah.
So like, when did you get into a commercial studio or just like any type of studio environment that you were recording on? So
the first time I got into the studio was with that funky Uncle Jake, actually. You know Uncle Jake?
Not personally, no.
He makes music, or he used to. He makes music, yeah. That funky Uncle Jake, he's an artist in Calgary. He's got a sick voice. He kind of like raps, but like sings a little bit too, whatever. Like it was sick.
Nah, he's dope. I heard a couple of his songs. I just never met him personally.
Okay, word. Yeah, so I went to his studio and checked it out. It's like a home studio. And then at that show, that Halloween show, is actually where I met my current producer at Peach Jam Records.
Oh, damn.
Shout out Peach Jam Records.
Yeah,
big
shout out
time.
Peach Jam
Shout out
Records.
Kenton and Cheyenne.
Cool.
Yeah, Kenton is the CEO, owner, founder of Peach Jam Records. And he approached me a few times because I was involved with Funky Fest. You remember when Funky Fest was the thing?
Nah.
A little while back. They were putting on like showcase shows essentially. Okay. And they did them like every 3 or 4 months or something like that. They had a Halloween one. I think there was 4 altogether.
I'm new to the scene, so personally I haven't really been around too many shows.
Yeah, there was like Taj Vaughn was in it, and Trenchy, and Funky Uncle Jake, and Selly Cisco, and Simo, or who used to be Mael. And there was a lot of really well-known artists who were in Funky Fest, actually.
That's dope.
But so I met that producer there, and he has like a nice studio. It's in his house as well, but it's just like really proper. He's got a huge desk. And he approached me and pitched himself, essentially. He was like, I want to produce you. I'll give you some nice deals or whatever, and I'll like come to my studio and I'll give you some demos for free so you can kind of see how I work. He made a nice playlist for me of all of the singers who he's produced that kind of would have a similar vibe to mine, so I could get an idea of how he produced. Very professional guy, really down to earth. Went to the studio, immediately felt comfortable.
That's
Smoking
good.
there. You know, it was good vibes.
That's what you need.
Yeah, he let the mans come, and like my shit sounded right. I was like, I sound like me on here, first of all. I don't sound all auto-tuned and reverbed up, you know, which was nice.
Yeah.
I like to sound as much
you
like
hate auto-tune?
I don't hate it. No, sometimes I need it. Sometimes I need it to go in there, and he would go in there and like adjust specific notes. You know what I mean?
Like minimal auto-tune.
Yes, but I don't like when you turn it on and just put it over
like the
whole
T-Pain.
thing.
Yeah.
Although I fuck with T-Pain's music though.
Yeah, T-Pain's a goat.
It works for some people. Hell yeah. Not for me though. I like I like to sound as much like I do live as possible, but just
I get that.
Richer.
No, 100%. I totally get that. I totally get that. So like, what songs were you dropping in there? Like, when you were in that studio, were you dropping songs that you've released right now?
Yes, 2 of them. Actually, 2 of them, we made 2 demos. It was It's Personal and Antidepressant.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, I actually cried when he first sent me the first demo of It's Personal. He's like, this is hella rough, like a scratch demo. And I cried in my living room because I was like, I've never heard this. Like, I actually bought like a little Scarlett, what are they called?
Yeah, Scarlett Pro.
Yeah, and then a mic and stuff like that. And I tried to do it myself before I ever met any of these people or did any of this.
Yeah.
And I listened to myself back and I was like, damn, this is going to take some work to make it sound like the shit on the radio or on my Spotify. And this guy spent like probably whatever, an hour or less on this.
Yeah.
And I sounded so amazing and so beautiful. And I was like...
So he's an audio engineer as well?
No, he has a team of people that do that part. So he just does I go in the studio and he does
that's dope.
That stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
But I was just like so blown away, and the people that he has working on his team as well have a really amazing portfolio. All of them, they've worked with great, amazing people, and his dad is a studio musician as well. Music's in this guy's blood, so
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like I love working with Kente and Pisha.
So are you still working? Sure. You're still working with him?
Yeah.
So like, what have you dropped recently that you can highlight and like, you know, let the people get a taste of what you've been dropping? We can highlight it right now.
What have I already dropped?
Yeah, something you want to highlight so, you know, the people can like get a taste of what Malaika Hailey's all about.
I really want to highlight my latest drop, Feel Good.
Feel Good.
Yeah.
How'd that come about?
That one is my most recent one. That's the one that I actually wrote in Calgary, like probably like a year or 2 ago, not even.
That's dope.
The other 2 were like old ones, right, that I like revised and made better. But that one actually, like I wrote in Calgary when I first got here, and I was kind of going through like a very almost like enlightening kind of phase. I was changing up a lot of my priorities and relearning a lot of things. Yeah, replacing a lot of truths and stuff. And I just wrote from a place of truth that I didn't have before. My place of truth wasn't as profound, I guess, or as
I get that.
Insightful as it is now. And like that grows all the time the more I learn about myself.
Yeah, definitely.
But
so
yeah, that one, Feel Good, is more like my song to like the world. You could kind of say like everything in that song
is you.
I believe it full-heartedly, and like I live by that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like in time I know that it's worth it. God knows He knows my purpose. Like that is something that like I don't even need to tell myself anymore. Like I know that everything that happens, even if it's so shitty in the moment, like I might go through something 2-5 years later, that like I would not get through if I hadn't built up the muscles in that experience to be able to fucking thrive in that later.
And that shit.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, for sure.
Everything in that song is so personal and such a fundamental truth to myself. So that's the biggest window into me of all the songs that I've written.
That's dope. Okay, so everybody, this is Feel Good, Malaika, Hailey. Check it out.
In time, I know that it's worth it. God knows, and He holds my purpose. When life is harder than it seems, when I swear that I don't deserve this, don't mind that it's all that I see. See the light in all of my surroundings. When my heart and my soul are working overtime, I close my eyes and turn my dream into a better life. Hold on, wait for me. My eyes can't see in front of me, but the universe, she guides me. Don't forget the past, don't forget what's coming next, but know that the time to see is right here in front of me. Oh, take the blame, say my name.
All right, my people, that's Feel Good, Malaika, Hailey. We're going to put all her stuff in the description, so check her out. She's dope. Yeah, so kind of, can you let the people know, now that they've heard a little bit of your music, kind of like what's coming up for you? What can we expect from Malaika, Hailey in the future?
All right, so I got a few different kinds of shows coming up this month for sure. But, you can check out my social for that.
Yeah, for sure. Right? Everybody check out your social for that.
Yeah, but I'm working on an EP. That's my thing right now that I'm telling everybody about.
Okay, that's dope.
It is kind of just like a little bit more introduction of myself to the world, the industry, Calgary, whoever will listen. I'm still just trying to get people to get to know me before my songs get so specific. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to really let people know who I am with this EP. There's like an overall theme for sure. There's gonna be some strings that are going to be going throughout the whole song. They'll poke out more in some than others.
Like a live instrument strings?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm going to have some nice violinists in the studio.
That's
for
dope.
Sure.
That's
Shout
dope.
out Joel Harder.
Shout out Joel Harder for sure.
And I got my mans on the bass on all of the songs as well.
Oh, he plays bass?
Yeah, he plays bass
That's
and acoustic, like most guitars.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he grew up playing in the band in church and stuff. So
that's sick. So music stays close to you.
Yeah, it has to. Honestly, it's in my astrology. I don't know if any of y'all listeners pay attention to your astrology. You should. But music is so important to me. I wouldn't be able to have a significant other who didn't care about music or like have a preference, or you know what I mean? Yeah. Even if you've never studied it or know how to play any instruments, but you have an ear for it, you care about it, That's important to me, I guess.
I feel like music is the language of like life itself right now. You know what I mean? Like you can connect with, like if someone's from across the world, you don't know the language, but you guys are rocking to the same song. You guys are connecting on a different level. You know what I mean?
Exactly. On such a higher spiritual level that actual verbal language could ever come to. Like I actually said this in a magazine interview just the other day, that music is the universal language of the world. If like everybody can understand it in the same way, but in an individual way at the same time. You know what I mean? Like I'll play a A flat minor chord. Yeah. Everybody's experiencing a more sad feeling, but it's still going to be specific to each person.
Yeah, of course.
But I love that. Like exactly, you don't need to speak the same language to understand each other.
Nah, music talks.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
So your man's on the bass. He got some live instruments, and is it like there's no such thing as really genre? I heard you say in a different interview. So we're not gonna categorize you, but like, what's the emotion that you want to get across on this EP?
Yeah. So initially, when we had started brainstorming and kind of making our vision board for the EP, I had said to my producer that I want 4 songs, 1 intro. And I want all 4 songs to be like vastly different. Like I want them to sound completely different, totally different vibes.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's like, yeah, okay, word. We need to have like an overall kind of like theme or whatever.
Yeah.
So I had just said like, I want it to be like my bio, kind of. Like the EP to be Malaika Hailey's musical bio, you could say.
No, I get that.
So there's some songs there is a song on there that's very much about kind of where I've come to with my strong Black woman kind of vibes, you know what I mean? Unapologetically me and not shrinking myself for situations or people.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of that. There's a bit of the whole hopeless romantic side of me as a Libra.
Yeah.
So there's that energy in one of the songs. There's the Scorpio moon in me, which is very like roll my eyes like I couldn't be bothered kind of vibe. So there's that. And then there's also, and then there's one that is very much has to speak to the ongoing battle I have with body image and self-esteem and all that shit. It's such a strange thing for me. Like, this is how I explain it to people. Like, I know I look good. And I know I'm pretty. I know I'm beautiful. I know I'm the shit. I know that. I know that that's the truth.
Yeah, work that.
However, I don't feel like that all the time. But that doesn't change me presenting myself as though I feel that way because I know that that's the truth.
Yeah, of course.
But like, so that fight between embodying that as truth without just knowing it to be fact, you know what I mean? It's almost like, yeah, I know gravity is real, but like, I need to see it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So there's a song that is very much, it's like it's the song from the angel on my shoulder speaking louder than the devil.
Okay.
If you know, so a long time ago, the devil was really loud, and like this song is the angel drowning out
that noise,
that demon on the other shoulder. You know what I mean? That's the best way I can describe it. So those are kind of like 4 very fundamental points of who I am. And then the songs, they do sound all very different.
That's good.
But they're all me. They all have that Malaika Hailey vibe.
Yeah.
And there are elements that cross over all of them. Some of them are way more prominent, and other ones are just like supporting roles in the beat.
Okay.
But yeah, so we're keeping some consistencies throughout all of the songs. But in terms of content and like meaning of each one, they are all speaking to different aspects of myself, you could say.
That's really cool. That's a really good way to look at it. And like what makes Malaika Hailey unique? You know, like you're here in Calgary, you're on the scene. What makes you unique?